I'm pleased to be joined by Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
I want to talk about what you have done since you got to Oklahoma and what you're looking forward to. But to get at that, looking at this office you have here in the Switzer Center, and I'm reminded how hard it was to build something like this, how hard it was to build the tradition that you were stewarding. And I want to quote you back to you to get into what spring football has been like at Oklahoma. So one of the things that you had said in a recent post-practice interview is you can't practice in a soft way and expect to play in a hard, tough, physical way. And you're talking about needing to hit in practice. You're talking about your mentality. But I would say the counterpoint to that, Coach, is you're risking injury from time to time. Why do you still need to practice hard, though?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have our times for scrimmage work. We have our times with no pads, and then we have our times where we do just tracking, and then we have times where we're working just thud technique. So those are all different tempos. Some of that's regulated by the NCAA rules, what you can and can't do. But being physical is a mindset, and so developing a mindset. You don't say, well, okay, you got to have this mindset, and then you go over into the mindset box and grab it out, and then you all of a sudden, instantaneously have this different kind of mindset. So, as you're developing culture, having the right mindset is a big part of it, and being tough, being physical, practicing with an edge is something that we're constantly nurturing, promoting.
Well, Coach, I want to get at that because one of the things that Danny Stutzman had said is, hey, it's on us. We understand as a defense we had a hard time getting off the field. We understand we allowed more points than is tradition at the University of Oklahoma. But he talked about Kobe Bryant and what kind of a leader he was and how he went out and pushed his teammates and being physical, being a mentality, a Mamba mentality, if you will. What does it mean to have those sorts of guys in your locker room who also are surrogates for your message?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have that, you got to create belief. You have to create buy-in. And I try to do it from a place of motivation, inspiration. What you do proves what you believe. And so, doing it on the field, your tape is your resume. And so just creating, a vision for, what the expectations and what the standards are. We have a lot of opportunity to teach our guys and to show them what excellence looks like. Both even, in our first stint here several years ago, we've had a great collection of video to be able to teach from. And some of the same calls, we're not reinventing the wheel, and certainly what we did at Clemson on defense, not like one or two really good games or a good season here and a good season there. We're the model of consistency for a very long time, and that's what you're playing for, is the long ball as you build your foundation, and sometimes the foundation it takes the longest to build, but it's the most important part of the building. The height of the building is all dependent upon the depth of your foundation, and so getting the foundation is incredibly important, and having the right type of players that believe in the same values that you have, and so you can recruit to that, and then you can nurture and develop that too, and so we're trying to do both. We've had tremendous turnover on our roster, but you mentioned a young man like Stutzman, who is he's been bought in, and he takes great ownership in the bad and the good, not just the good. But you got to take the good and the bad together as you're building something and you're chasing excellence. You get into this arena, it's not going to all be good. And so we're trying to develop part of the mindset is that you could be completely committed to what it takes. Am I willing to give what winning takes? This is what it takes. And don't worry about the result. You focus on what it takes. And then the best players, the best units, the best teams, if there's something, they're consistent. And so you gotta show up with the right mindset every day, and then you gotta play to a standard, compete to a standard, each and every day, nothing more, nothing less. And if it ain't it, remember your resume is your tape.
Well, to that point, Coach, like one of the things that I'm most interested in this 2023 season is the foundation that you're building, but also as you're building toward what's going to be a new experience. This year, Big 12 is going to have 14 teams as opposed to, well, 10 the last couple of years, and then 12 when it was created. And then you're vaunted into the SEC. So you're already having to do a lot to prepare for this year and the next year. In particular, as you are preparing for this last year in the Big 12 and preparing for the SEC, what brick and mortar things are you looking to fix and or improve as we end spring practice here in a couple weeks?
Yeah, another good question, but I'll be honest, it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. I've said this before, we got to learn to be a good team in this conference. We're still playing in this conference, let alone the SEC's down the road. But if we don't get it right inside out, it's always football's a game of matchups. The biggest matchup that you'll have from today and for the rest of your life is the man in the mirror. And you got to get that one right. You got to win that matchup first and foremost. How you think, how you work, how you respond, how you lead, how you play. You got to get it right there first. And so the bricks and the mortar are continue to nurture the foundation, create vision, rehearse your beliefs, and then demand that we meet or exceed those, expectations or standards each and every day, one day at a time. Don't try to get ahead of ourselves. Don't try to live in the past, but the past, good or bad, shapes you, develops you, forms you. You learn from it, but don't allow the past, good or bad, paralyze you. And I think a lot of people, as they pursue excellence, they can be paralyzed and they can lose their passion for it all. And so I want, not our guys not to lose our way and just, again, chase excellence one day at a time, put the work in one day at a time. This team is going to get exactly, what we earn. And, there's a price for developing good habits and there's a cost for developing bad habits. Either way, you got to pay, and so getting our guys to, again, think the right way, like those habits. What you do on the practice field, that's game reality. And so getting our guys to, part of that mindset is developing a game rep mentality. When we go to that practice field, that's got to be our competitive advantage, how we do what we do. Everybody's practicing. Everybody's coaching football. How we do what we do has to be something that separates us. Our preparation, how we go about it, has got to separate us. And so getting our guys to believe that. And again, you nurture it every day. And again, when you're passionate and you really believe something as a leader, that's how you create buy-in. And so I want to motivate, I want to challenge, I want to inspire, I want to be a doer, and I want guys that are being about it, not talking about it. And that's how you play this game. You gotta be a doer. And and from building the foundation the right way, and you're in the lots of turnover on your roster. There's a transfer portal. There's a lot of instability, and from that standpoint. And so I'm looking for guys that are not takers, guys that want to be givers, and guys that are going to be doers. And that's a very slippery slope that as we are encountering an environment that can be promoted to be more and more transactional. We want to be the exact opposite. We want to be relational. We want to be connected. We want to be committed to something that's bigger, than ourselves. And so you're looking for selfless guys that believe in being a great teammate and guys that believe in being a great leader. And so you're literally trying to recruit that. And then once you have them here, you're developing that nonstop, your leadership, your buy-in, your accountability, your selflessness. You have to nurture that and seek that each and every day.
Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.